So how everybody doing? Are y'all ready for story time while I create these baskets? If you're an entrepreneur, you know we wear many hats. And we do what we need to do to keep the cash flow flowing because the cash got to be flowing. So I decided to do a little Ubering. You know you get to pick and choose. But anyway, I chose this one delivery. And it was out in the country. I love those little country rides. But once I turned off the main road, the GPS kept saying, "You almost at your destination. Turn right here on the left." And I was like, I don't see nowhere to turn into. What is this GPS talking about? So I had passed where I was supposed to turn off at. So the GPS rerouted me and took me back around the block, and I was back on that main street. And then I turned off on a little road. So I was like, let me slow up and let me watch this GPS. And it was like, "You're here." And I kept looking, "Here where?" I said, "I know it's not a house down here." So anyway, I rode past it and then the GPS started redirecting. So I said, let me bag up. I said, this must be where I'm supposed to turn. But it just looked like grass. So anyway, I said, well, let me go on and turn up here and see. Maybe it's a house back here. And surely it was. But I was like, I know ain't nobody living in that. And I ain't trying to judge, but I was like, ain't no way I'm supposed to be delivering these groceries right here. But anyway, I pulled on up and the app said you have arrived. So I was in the right location. And then it was like, leave it on the front porch. So I was looking, I was like, okay, how am I supposed to get to the front porch? All I see is all these weeds, no kind of sidewalk or anything. And I had on flip-flops. So I was like, okay, let me walk through this grass. I hope nothing bites my foot. And anyway, I got up to the front porch. I was like, now how are you supposed to get on the front porch? So I looked around to the side. I said, okay, there's a ramp. So I walked around to the side. But then there was a side door. I was like, man, the direction said leave it at the front door, but it's a side door right here. So which door is really the front door? The side door or the front? Anyway, I passed the side door. I said, what if somebody come out this side door and snatch me up? I said, wait a minute, is 2 people living in this house? Anyway, I took it to the front door and there was a cat sitting right there. So I set the stuff down. I tried to make one trip from the car, but I had a gallon of milk I just could not hold. So I left it in the car because my arms was full and I had my phone in my hand because you know you got to take a picture once you sit the stuff by the door. So anyway, I took that side ramp and I went to the back of the house. I said, okay, I guess this is how I was supposed to come, but there was no clue telling me to, pull to the back of the house and then walk around to the front. That's crazy. But anyway, so I went back out to my car from the back, got that gallon of milk, hurried back on up, back around that side, put it on the front porch, took that picture, and I was gone. But anyway, I was like, I guess somebody live here. You can't judge a book by its cover. It could be laid out in the inside. Who knows? But I definitely wouldn't have been going to this house if it was dark. Actually, I wouldn't even seen the turn in because there was no street lights on the road.